Moving into the second game then, GWS and Brisbane at Giant Stadium on Saturday night. Let's get straight into the cold hard facts of this one. That is by far, the worst straight sets exit I've ever seen in a final series from a team. And we've seen plenty recently, especially. I tweeted this after the game, and I said that without any level of certainty, because obviously I couldn't do the well, I mean, I could, but I didn't want at that point to do the fact checking and the research myself at that time. But I said it was probably the worst. Having done the research now for this pod, it is definitely the worst. You had Melbourne in 2022, who led both games at quarter time, led the Brisbane game at halftime, and lost both. You had West Coast, who led both games at three-quarter time by smaller margins and lost. And you had Port Adelaide in 01, who blew a pair of decent leads as well. All similar sort of thing. They're probably the next crop. But the manner in which GWS did this one, to take 20 plus point leads into the last quarter in each game, and to kick 2 goals, 1 and 1 goal, 2 in those final 2 quarters, and to concede 6 goals in each quarter. So 12 combined goals across the 2 final quarters on the way to blowing the 2 games. It baffles me. It really does. The Brisbane game in particular is the one that wraps it all up and puts a nice little bow on it for me. They let them back in before three-quarter time, dragged the lead back to 30 points, took a 25-point lead into three-quarter time, whatever it was, and then they let them back in again and stuffed it. How? How? They dropped like 11 of the last 14 goals or something. Something ridiculous like that. It's insane. It's bad. It's really bad. And they'll know how bad that is. I'm not saying anything controversial here. But yeah, awful. Great footy from Brisbane to get back into the game, to be fair. This isn't entirely a GWS thing where every team is going to do that against GWS. Brisbane has to play some bloody good footy to be able to drag that back in the first place. But you've just got to hold on there if you're the Giants, in my opinion. You just have to. But in terms of the game itself, some players who deserve recognition because, I mean, the game itself speaks for itself. GWS were in control pretty much the whole time. Brisbane hit back late, GWS get control back, and then they blow it. That's just the story of the game. It was momentum swings, and one team came out on top in the end. Joe Danaher is the first player who deserves every bit of recognition for that last 5 minutes of the game because not every player is going to be able to keep a cool head in that situation. And he absolutely did everything he needed to do. 2 goals, obviously, but to keep a cool head there was very impressive for a player who probably, in some people's opinions, has been a little bit unreliable at times in the past, especially in front of goal, set shot kicking. Will Ashcroft was fantastic as well. Such a good player, that kid. That one moment, the Kyle Oman one, where he takes on 4 GWS players and just somehow gets a. I think he got a handball out. I mean, it would have been pinged if he didn't get a handball out. The Kyle Oman at the back of 4 GWS players and he kicks a goal. Insane. Insane. Such an impressive midfielder. Such a hard midfielder to stop as well. Clearly, if you've got 4 players taking you on. But anyway, um, yeah, I just thought Brisbane were really good. Those two in particular were fantastic. Dane Zorko kicked 2 goals as well off halfback. Impressive. Um, People love to hate Dane Zorko. I don't blame him. He's that kind of player. He's a bit of a halfback Toby Green. People love to hate him, but he does his job, plain and simple. And he's been fantastic in both finals so far, and I'm sure he'll be fantastic again next week. That's just how he does it. But yeah, really good performance from Brisbane in the end.